This hunter saw war. Now it will help those who fought it.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips at CNN World Headquarters in Atlanta.
And I'm Don Lemon. It's your vote. You may cast it in the humble setting of a firehouse or even a school gym. But its impact could shake the halls of Congress and tip the balance of power on Capitol Hill. All 435 seats in the House of Representatives are up for grabs today. At least 36 Republican-held seats are considered at risk.
Democrats are hoping to win at least 15 of those seats to regain control of the House for the first time since 1994. Pundits say that's a good bet.
And the Senate may be a safer haven for Republicans. 7 GOP seats are considered vulnerable and possibly 2 Democratic seats as well. To take control, Democrats will have to hold on to those seats and take 6 of the GOP seats. Many analysts believe that's a long shot, but it's possible.
CNN has deployed its correspondents and vast resources across the country from New York to Texas to Montana. Buckle up as we kick off this Election Day coverage from the CNN Newsroom. Well, it's been ugly, it's been nasty, and finally, mercifully, some would say the Virginia Senate race is coming to a bitter end. Republican Senator George Allen has been going back and forth with Democrat James Webb for months now. Our Ed Henry joins us from Richmond. He's been caught up in the middle of all of it. Hey, Ed.
Good afternoon again, Kira. You're right. The excitement building here in Virginia. This is one of the most closely watched Senate battles. So much at stake, nothing short of the control of the United States Senate, as you've been noting. And what we're hearing is there's a lot of enthusiasm out there on both sides. Turnout extremely heavy all across this Commonwealth this morning at the polling places, both candidates turning out and voting for themselves, but also absentee ballots. We're told from the State Board of Elections in 2002 there were only 44,000 absentee ballots. In 2006 now, a comparable midterm election year, 131,000 absentee ballots have been requested. Not everyone will actually file those, but still a sharp increase over 2002. As you noted, this has been one of the nastiest races. A lot of people happy that it'll be over. A Republican Senator George Allen battling allegations of racism. The Democrat Jim Webb battling allegations of sexism. And Jim Webb joking this morning after he voted, he can't wait to have a beer when it's over. And then he said this.
I'm very, very proud that we ran a clean campaign. I mean, that's one of the 2 things that I said at the beginning of this. One was that I wasn't going to trade anything that I believe in order to get a vote or to get money, and the other was that I was not going to engage in the same sort of campaigning that, in my view, has characterized the Karl Rove era and has sort of dragged the country down.
Now, the campaign of the incumbent George Allen sharply disputes that. They feel that this campaign has been dirty, that most of the attacks have come from the Democratic side. Of course, you're going to hear those charges hurled back and forth in a lot of these races. But what's interesting about George Allen, I was at his last rally last night heading into Election Day. Only 250 people there in Richmond. Jim Webb, the Democrat, he had some 5,000 to 6,000 at a rally with former President Bill Clinton. But what George Allen's campaign is banking on in part is the fact that there is a state ban on same-sex marriage, a constitutional amendment on the state ballot. They think that will help boost conservative turnout. Take a listen to the senator.
I believe that marriage should be between one man and one woman. I'm voting for that amendment. My opponent is not. And I think the vast majority of Virginians believe that the Marriage Protection Amendment needs to be put into law so federal judges or any judge does not take away our rights and our values from us. So let's stand strong for the family.
Now, this is one of many states where people in both parties taking a look at whether there will be irregularities, whether there will be voter suppression, allegations flying all around. CNN is being told by law enforcement sources that the FBI is now looking at allegations that there have been several phone calls aimed at trying to suppress voters from actually showing up at the polls here in Virginia. The Democratic campaign of Jim Webb in particular has been raising allegations about phone calls. One in particular, they had a voicemail where a Democratic voter got a call that where someone claimed they were calling from the Board of Elections here in the state and claimed that this voter was registered in both Virginia and New York, and he was told in this call if he showed up to vote, he would be arrested. The State Board of Elections says they make no such call. This voter says he's not registered to vote in both states, so now the FBI taking a look at that. Kira.
Ed Henry live from Richmond, Virginia. Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Campaign season in Missouri has seen a little bit of everything. That includes a celebrity TV ad that only inflamed what was already a barn burner of a Senate race. Democrat Claire McCaskill is in a showdown with Republican incumbent Jim Talent. Our Jonathan Freed is in St. Louis. Jonathan?
That's right. It is very much a showdown. It has been a tight race here for as long as anybody can remember in political terms. And in political terms, a day can be an eternity. And everybody here is focusing on turnout right now. It was expected to be very large, not just because of the effect that this very heated race, Senate race, is having, but also because of a ballot initiative that would empower more stem cell research in this state. So you kind of have two campaigns that have been running in tandem, and they're intermingling, and everybody is waiting to see what effect that is going to have, not just on turnout, but how the stem cell question will spill over and which candidate might it help more than the other. Both of them have taken pretty clear positions on it. The Democrat is saying that she is for the research. The Republican here, Jim Talent, is saying that he is personally against it, but he feels that people need to make up their own minds.
And Jonathan, this isn't the first time that these candidates have been in such a tight race, is it?
No, it's not the first time. Both of them are used to this, and we were talking to both of their campaigns about that and about their mindset hitting into a squeaker like this one. Both of them were separately, not in the same year, running for governor, where it came down to the wire there as well. And what the camps are telling us is that they're relatively relaxed, relatively speaking, in a case like this, that they've been there before and they're prepared to wait for everything to be counted. No one's getting too anxious.
All right, Jonathan Freed in St. Louis, Missouri. Thank you so much for that.
Well, in Tennessee, one candidate is trying to make history. Another is trying to help his party retain the seat now held by the Senate Majority Leader. Republican Bob Corker is a former mayor who wants to succeed Bill Frist in the Senate. Democrat Harold Ford would be the first African-American ever popularly elected to the Senate from the South. Our Joe Johns is in Memphis. He joins us by phone. Joe.
Hey, Kira, that's right. We started out today in Memphis. The weather is at least part of the story here in Tennessee at the moment. The skies are overcast. There was drizzle this morning. Of course, rain is thought to affect turnout. Both sides, of course, believing that turnout is going to be the key whichever way this tight race goes. There have been some reports of morning problems with voting machines, but there was also a report that at least some of those problems had been fixed, trying to get more on that. One of the standard pictures from a campaign that we don't get today is that picture you always see of the candidate voting for himself, herself, whatever, on Election Day. That's because both of the candidates already have voted. And there is at least some speculation that nearly half of the people voting in this election have already voted even before Election Day rolled around. Nonetheless, both candidates, Democrat Harold Ford and Republican Bob Corker, were visiting polling places. I saw Congressman Ford at a polling place in Memphis this morning. He was expressing concerns about the reports of glitches with the voting machines, said the campaign's lawyers were raising complaints. Ford, about now, heading out to Jackson, Tennessee, outside of Memphis, having lunch. Corker is expecting to finish up in Chattanooga tonight. He also headed out to visit some polling places in the state as well. Kira?
The historical aspect if Harold Ford wins, Joe, are people talking a lot about that and the diversity issue?
Yeah, I mean, especially here in Memphis. Of course, Memphis is the place where the congressional district of Harold Ford is located, so a lot of people are talking about that. The notion that he would be the first African-American from the South since Reconstruction in the United States Senate. Harold Ford himself, he's very much run as a centrist, and he's been very careful to try to appeal to all voters in his own way. So one time when I asked him about it, it was kind of interesting. He said, look, in Tennessee, black guys are undefeated. They haven't had any wins and they haven't had any losses. So we'll see what turns out here. One thing for sure, a lot of people have high expectations in this part of the South, this part of the state. And when you look up toward the east of Tennessee, that is where the Corker campaign is headquartered. Corker, of course, is the former mayor of Chattanooga. In that part of the state, people are also very energized because they see Corker's campaign as a way to sort of put up a firewall against Democrats in the United States Senate. This is the seat that is being vacated by Senate Majority Leader Bill Frist, and a lot of Republicans are really hoping to hang on to it, Kira.
Congressional correspondent Joe Johns. Thank Joe.
The congressional race in Illinois has grabbed national headlines for a couple of reasons. One, the seat hasn't been open in more than 30 years. Also, it features an Iraq War veteran who is running against the war and also running against the White House. CNN's Keith Oppenheim is in Elmhurst, Illinois. Keith?
Hi, Don, and that Iraq War veteran is Tammy Duckworth, and she has made this race very interesting. First of all, let me explain that the 6th Congressional District, Illinois, west of Chicago, has been held by Congressman Henry Hyde for 32 years. The Republican candidate, Peter Roskam, is conservative. He's a state senator who's been pushing conservative themes in a district that tends to lean to the right. Then, after the Democratic primary, along comes Tammy Duckworth. It was 2 years ago this month that Tammy Duckworth's helicopter in Iraq was struck by a grenade. She lost both of her legs. She returned to the United States as a double amputee. And so when this lady speaks about a gradual withdrawal of troops from Iraq, she clearly does so with some credibility. So, Don, a race that seemed to be moving for Republicans in the beginning of this contest is now too close to call.
And Keith, credibility when it comes to the war, but what about elected office?
She has never held office before. He's been in the Illinois legislature for 13 years in both the Senate and the State House. So he brings a lot of political experience. She's a novice, but her compelling story has made her on par with him, at least as of the time I'm speaking now.
Yeah, all right, Keith Oppenheim in Elmhurst, Illinois. Thank you, sir.
Straight ahead, problems at the polls. Our Ali Velshi keeping tabs on precincts around the nation. We're going to check in with him.
Rain, flooding, a soggy mess. Weather plays a role at the polls. That's coming up in the CNN newsroom.
Good oral health is part of your overall health. Philips Sonicare. Sonicare improves your oral health. Its patented sonic technology creates dynamic cleaning action, getting deep between the teeth and along the gum line for a healthier mouth guaranteed. It makes sense Sonicare is the power toothbrush brand most used and recommended by dental professionals. Sonicare. Simplicity is brushing your teeth and taking care of your body.
I used to think that Veterans Day was a day to get out of school. Then my uncle went to serve overseas. Even though he was gone forever, he came home safe. When he wears his uniform, people smile or shake his hand. I guess when you're a veteran, you're a hero. I know he's mine.
We all know someone who has served our country. Today and every day, we say thank you to all our veterans.
Like me and you, so let the voice of freedom sing out through this land. This is our country.
This is our truck, the all-new Chevy Silverado.
Oregon's waited a long time for results from Ted Kulongoski, but Ted's time is up. Newspapers call Kulongoski a no-show governor who has not stepped up to lead. Ron Saxton will change Oregon with education reform, more money into classrooms, a focus on results. He'll hold the line on taxes, cut waste, control spending, with leadership, not partisanship. Kulongoski won't make the changes Oregon needs, but you can. Ron Saxton for governor.
Exposed is brought to you by
American Laser Centers. Go to pdexposed.com now and register for your chance to win $1,500 in laser hair removal from American Laser Centers. Feels sexy for winter. Register to win now at pdexposed.com.
Tomorrow, election night's best moments and biggest surprises. American Morning, 5 a.m.
Closed captioning hours provided by Nature's Tears Eye Mist Dry Relief.
Nature's Tears Eye Mist, the natural way to soothe and moisturize tired, strained, dry eyes. Nature's Tears Eye Mist. Now, doesn't that feel better?
When it comes to national politics, or lots of other things for that matter, Montana is usually often overlooked, but not this year. That state has about 600,000 registered voters, and the two candidates for Senate have spent more than, get this, $12 million, or that's about $20 per voter. Republican incumbent Conrad Burns is in the fight of his political life against Democrat Jon Tester, and our Chris Lawrence is in Billings in the middle of it all. Chris?
Well, Don, when those polls close in other battleground states like Missouri and Virginia, they'll still be casting their ballots here, and around 500,000 voters could swing the entire Senate.
As polls close in battleground states across the country, control of the Senate could come down to a last stand in the Old West.
Pete, did you see where Jon Tester called cutting taxes ridiculous?
Yeah, old Tester even voted for higher taxes on my pickup.
Instead of a gunfight at high noon, it's attack ads 24/7. They paint Democrat Jon Tester as a high taxer. Republican Conrad Burns, an incumbent who sold out to lobbyists.
We like having a senator we can count on. We gave Conrad's campaigns $546,000.
Montana is a land of windmills and wheat fields. Fewer than 1 million people live here. But just 5 days before the election, the president himself came calling.
The Democrats are going to tax whoever they can find. And we're not going to let them, because we're going to put Conrad Burns back in the United States Senate.
Burns accused Tester of raising taxes on 16,000 small businesses. But that's not really true. Tester voted to freeze the tax rate at 3%, rather than allow an economic trigger to kick in, which would have phased out the tax altogether. But that would have cost Montana schools millions of dollars in funding.
I don't think that there's very many tax bills that he's not liked. He's voted on a lot of them.
Tester reminds voters that Burns took $150,000 in donations from convicted lobbyist Jack Abramoff.
And that's the difference. You're helping your K Street lobbyists, I help the middle class.
What he doesn't mention, Burns gave away that money after the scandal broke.
In fact, Burns says Abramoff had no influence on his decisions whatsoever. Democrats say Burns is the perfect example of the culture of corruption there in Washington.
All right, Chris
Don?
Lawrence in Billings, Montana. Thank you, sir.
On this election day, Ali Velshi's got issues. We're not talking personal ones. Well, I am. Our show isn't long enough for that, but we mean voting issues. Ali's tracking, oh, that's one of those, I'm going to kill you later, Kira. Ali's tracking them at the problem desk in New York. You're so good at running the problem desk. You're
well,
such a
we call it, by the way, we call it the voter irregularity desk, and there have been all sorts of jokes about that. So I'd rather you talk about me having issues than being a regular guy or whatever it is.
Oh, boy.
Now,
this is going down fast.
The problems, and there are tons of them, partially because it's a big country and lots of people are voting, but we've asked a lot of people to submit some of their concerns after they've reported them to the authorities to us at CNN.com using iReport. We're getting a lot of issues that are sent to us, and then we confirm them independently. We're not getting a lot of pictures and video because I guess people can't really take a lot of pictures and video. We do get some, but if people have problems, tell them to send them to us. They come into sort of two categories, Kira. One of them is voting machines not doing what people want them to do, either delays getting them started or not working properly. The other main issue that we're getting a lot of concerns about is the fact that in this year, so many different states have new regulations about identification for voters that people are getting confused. And it's not just regular folks. I mean, we've got people, we've got all sorts of people emailing us with concerns. In Arizona, someone was turned away even though they had a U.S. passport because the law there calls for an address, and a passport doesn't have an address printed in it. But in South Carolina, I think we probably still have this video. The governor went to vote, and
he got turned away?
He didn't have the suitable identification, and there's video of him sort of leafing through. There he is. He's leafing through his wallet, trying to find out.
So he didn't vote.
He went back to vote subsequently, we're told, But at this juncture where the camera was here, he didn't. He had to leave.
How can you deny the governor? You know who the governor is.
Well, whoever was running that poll decided that they are going to stick to the rules. And the problem is the rules are different all over the place. We have a report of a congressman in Ohio having similar problems. In fact, we're getting a lot of that sort of thing. So
there is no standard mode of ID. Okay,
that's
every
the
state.
problem.
So can you go on your state's website and
yes.
and they'll
go to
tell
the
you
state board of electors or look up the state, the Secretary of State in your state, and just find out. And frankly, if you've got the ID, take it with you. There are two things people want. Some states want photo IDs. And some states want something that has an address on it. So just, because who wants to wait in the line and then be turned away?
I thought I had issues with my squirrels in the attic.
Little did you know you have issues with squirrels in democracy. I have a correction to make, Kira. As you may have heard earlier, I discussed some problems in Colorado with some laptops, and I associated it with a squirrel. In fact, there were problems in Colorado with laptops having to do with voting. It had nothing to do with the squirrel. The squirrel in question, a rogue squirrel in question, was in fact in Oklahoma, where in a place called Frederick, Oklahoma, 5,000 to 6,000 people. The only complaint that the guy who runs elections there has heard was that a rogue squirrel has caused a power outage across the city, affecting a total of 3 precincts. One of the precincts at a fire station, which is not affected because it has a backup generator.
I'll tell you right now, those squirrels can eat through anything.
Yeah, but don't call them rogue squirrels because people are getting mad at that.
All right, we'll be nice.
We do have, but there are a number of issues. We're continuing to follow them, and obviously as the day gets further on, Kira, we'll have some more specifics as we check them out.
We'll keep checking in. Thanks, Allie.
Okay. You've got problems with squirrels. Who's getting them out of your attic? Not just your
That's true. I did call you in, didn't I, at 2 a.m. Because I didn't feel like going up there.
Attic. All right.
And you didn't find him, by the way.
Oh, well.
Moving on.
Connecticut's ballot, a familiar name in a different spot, plus a new face. Who will voters choose? That race ahead in the CNN newsroom.
America Votes 2006 is sponsored by AARP. Don't vote until you know where the candidates stand on the issues. Visit don'tvote.com. Log on to cnn.com/election for analysis of this year's midterm election races.
I'm handsome, I'm funny, I tell a good joke. I'll hug you, I'll kiss you, I don't even smoke. My wife is impeccable, my past quite respectable. Vote for me assuredly, but don't ask about Social Security. Come have some pie with me.
Don't fall for the song and dance. Vote the issues, not just the personality. See where the candidates stand at don'tvote.com.
Paula Sela is a real Geico customer, not an actor. So to help tell her story, we hired that announcer guy from the movies.
When the storm hit, both our cars were totally underwater.
In a world where both of our cars were totally underwater.
We thought it would take forever to get some help.
But a new wind was about to blow.
With Geico, we had our check in 2 days.
Payback. This time, it's for real.
Geico. Real service, real savings.
Are you a homeowner with a first mortgage, second mortgage, auto loans, student loans, or credit card debt? Or would you like to consolidate your debts into one low monthly payment? Log on or call 1-800-71-FIXED, a GMAC company.
The 7th and final season, now on DVD. The end of an era.
You're the future. We're counting on you.
And a new beginning.
He's not gonna know what hit him.
With intriguing extras.
It's been a hell of a ride, though.
The West Wing, the 7th and final season, now on DVD.
What I want is smaller, faster, and more memory, right?
Make it look beautiful, as well as really, rock solid and functional.
If you're gonna run a big company, ask the people what they want first.
It may be weird, but I'm looking for a friend when I call that customer service line.
There are over 14 million headaches happening in this country today. But too many go untreated, simply because we're away from home. So we created a fast, new way to get the pure pain relief of Tylenol. Introducing Tylenol Go Tabs. They're portable and chewable for fast headache relief, even away from home. It's one small step towards a pain-free world. Stop. Think. Tylenol Go Tabs.
News from Medicine is brought to you by Tylenol Extra Strength. Stop. Think. Tylenol.
Well, there may be a reason they call it the graveyard shift. Researchers at the University of Virginia tinkered with the waking and sleeping cycles of mice with eye-opening results. They found that shifting daylight back by 6 hours was not only harmful, but deadly for older mice, killing more than half of them in 8 weeks. Younger mice were apparently not affected. Scientists believe that forcing changes in the body's circadian rhythms leads to sleep deprivation, which suppresses the immune system.
The stock market has been on a roll recently, so which party would prolong that rally? Susan Lasovich joins us from the New York Stock Exchange to tell us it may not make much of a difference, and welcome back. We certainly missed you, Susan.
It's good to be back, Don and Kara. Would not miss Election Day, and certainly working at CNN on Election Day is always exciting. But, you know, there is almost no case that it makes a difference for which party is going to win, because we've had this wave of M&A activity, we've had terrific corporate earnings, and then we have history. And if history is any guide, next year is likely to be a very good one for Wall Street, regardless of who wins the midterm elections today. Experts say stocks tend to go up in the third year of the four-year presidential cycle. In fact, they've risen an average 23% in similar third years dating back to 1946. One of the reasons why is that the party in power tends to start thinking about the next election, doesn't want to do anything to offend the voters. Other factors may contribute to upward momentum as well. If Republicans hold on to both houses of Congress, we may see a stock rally, since the street generally views Republicans as more friendly to big business. They're likely to make ending the estate tax a priority. But if Democrats take one or both houses, it would mean a divided government, and that's seen as good for the market as well. That's because gridlock usually means any damage from Washington won't make it through the legislative process, and a lot of times business doesn't want to see legislation. It wants to see the market forces ruled on. So
yeah, they're saying
there's lots of scenarios here.
Yeah, they're saying a lot. That means not much spending probably coming from Washington when that happens. Let's talk about those stocks. Which ones are you talking about? Which ones will likely benefit from this?
Well, we've talked about them quite a bit over the past 6 years, for sure, under the Bush administration. Certain ones, certainly, that would favor Republicans retaining control. Oil and other traditional energy stocks would be likely to benefit, as well as defense contractors, big pharmaceutical companies, which fear price controls set by the government. Democrats, on the other hand, might be better for alternative energy companies like ethanol producers. Whatever happens today, the uncertainty of the last couple of weeks should go away, and that could clear the way for more buying on Wall Street. And that is what we're seeing today. Nice rally on Wall Street, continuing what we saw yesterday. The Dow hitting another all-time high, trading above 12,100 right now. The NASDAQ composite, meanwhile, is up 1%, and that's the latest from Wall Street. Coming up next hour, a warning about inequality from one of the country's top banking officials. Kira, back to you.
All right, Susan, we'll talk again. Well, the race for the seat once held by Congressman Mark Foley, it's one of the big battles today in Florida. Coming up from the newsroom, we'll be talking about it.
Discover the colors of the Dominican Republic. Visit us online at GoDominicanRepublic.com.
I'm so happy to see you. I'm looking for options, investment options, a range from someone with experience like you. My money is in it for the long term.
You come to the wrong place. You want the Van Kampen Lighthouse.
Look for the right lighthouse. Van Kampen Investments. Call your advisor for a prospectus. Please read it carefully and consider fund objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and other information before investing.
When it comes to good health, cancer is a common enemy.
My mother has breast cancer. Am I at risk? What helps prevent cancer?
Are there new medicines available?
For answers, ask your doctor or visit these websites. Researchers at America's pharmaceutical companies are working on 646 new medicines to fight cancer, partnering with healthcare providers to better inform patients about treatment options. Go online and learn, because knowledge is the best medicine of all.
Your license says you're 55. You look 45. But your osteoarthritis pain makes you feel 105. You're only 43. But chronic back pain makes you feel 93. There's been a lot of news lately about some medications for chronic pain. But there are different options your doctor can prescribe, including some that work around the clock. To learn more, call 1-800-275-9885 or visit paininformationcenter.com. It is possible to have more active days and more restful nights. So call or visit paininformationcenter.com to find a personal pain profiler that can help you and your doctor evaluate your pain. You may be 57, but age is just a number.
This election night, the best political team on television tells it like it really is. Wolf Blitzer, Anderson Cooper, Lou Dobbs, Paula Zahn, and Larry King. Election night, CNN Tonight, 7 Eastern. Sponsored by AARP.
Laura and I know it's a privilege to be able to cast our vote. And I encourage all Americans to vote today. We live in a free society, and our government is only as good as the willingness of our people to participate in it. And therefore, no matter what your party affiliation, or if you don't have a party affiliation, do your duty. Cast your ballot and let your voice be heard.
Boy, he's chipper in the morning, right? That was President Bush up early this morning to cast his ballot in Texas. He and the First Lady voted at a fire station near their ranch in Crawford. After months of trying to tell Americans how to vote, today he simply urged us all to vote regardless of party affiliation or lack thereof. He returns to the White House this afternoon to watch those returns. Let's head straight to the newsroom now. TJ Holmes, details on a developing story in Colorado. TJ.
Well, don't want to hear this, but we got some more issues with voting and some of the polling stations. Let's show you some video here, some long lines we've been seeing in the Denver area. Now, there are a couple of different reasons being given for some of the delays, but we got long lines being formed in several areas around the Denver area of as many as 300 people lined up trying to vote. Now, election officials say the problem has been at a couple of locations, power failure. Now, the power failure does not affect some of those, the electronic voting machines, because those have backup power, so that's not really causing the problem. But the problem is a lot of the poll workers are using laptops so they can check the registration of people there who are trying to vote, so they're having some issues. This isn't some of the video or some of the best video we were hoping to show you with long lines, but just keeping an eye on something else here. We're going to continue to monitor this and bring you any updates, but they are starting to give us a shot we were hoping to see here of those long lines. Really, hundreds of people, up to 300 people in line. Yeah, check them out there. And also in Denver and Colorado, they got a long ballot, 14 initiatives that people are having to pick from as well, so that takes time. But again,
right?
Yeah, they're going to be standing there a while, be in there a while trying to vote, but it doesn't help certainly with the some of the problems. We're watching that for you
If
guys.
you're watching in Colorado, bring your coat and your galoshes or whatever, boots, whatever you need, because you're going to be waiting around a while. We wish some luck. Thank you, TJ.
Yes.
Well, he was kicked to the curb in the Democratic primary, but Connecticut Senator Joe Lieberman has rebounded as an independent in his race against Democrat Ned Lamont and Republican Alan Schlesinger. Dan Lothian is tracking that showdown in Hartford. Hey, Dan.
Hello, Kara. Well, the Secretary of State's office says that the voter turnout has been consistently strong so far this morning, between 25 and 30%, could be as high as 66%. Voters deciding whether or not to return an incumbent to a fourth term or elect a political newcomer.
Joe Lieberman may be the odds-on favorite running as an independent, but he's still sprinting to the finish line.
I don't want my supporters to think that this is over and going to stay home or decide they want to throw a vote to somebody else for some symbolic reason.
Meeting with workers at a utility company, Lieberman painted his Democratic opponent, Ned Lamont, as a one-issue candidate and a partisan polarizer.
It does get in the way of us getting something done for you, the people.
Remember each and every one of you guys.
Lamont, a wealthy businessman who beat Lieberman in the August Democratic primary, put in the final miles of his campaign bus tour, trying to convince voters he's the right candidate for real change.
Look at the crowds that are coming out. People fundamentally want a real change in how we're doing business in Washington.
Speaking to union workers, Lamont returned to the central theme of his campaign, the war in Iraq.
This war is wrong. It's hurting our country at home. It's hurting our country abroad. It's time to bring our troops home.
The Republican in this Senate race, Alan Schlesinger, has not been a major factor. That, say political analysts, has helped Lieberman, who's attracting support from Republicans.
He's identified as a Democrat, but an independent Democrat, and so his voice rises above partisan politics.
One interesting note, Lieberman's name, because he's an independent, appears at the very bottom of the ballot. He has been on the campaign trail reminding voters where to find him. We haven't heard of any problems there, but it'll be interesting to find out if there's any confusion and if it does impact the final count. Kira?
When we talk about Lieberman running as an independent, will he have an allegiance to a party?
He says he is still a Democrat. He holds no hard feelings, but he says what this race has taught him is that he must continue to be an independent thinker. And he says if indeed he does return to Washington, he thinks he'll be embraced by both Democrats and Republicans.
Dan Lothian in Hartford, Connecticut. Thanks, Dan.
And if you want election year intrigue, which state did you go to? You go to Florida. And this year is no exception. Our John Zarelli is keeping track of a controversial congressional race in Jupiter at the tip end of the 22nd district. What's going on, John?
Now, Don, why would you disparage Florida
I'm
like
not disparaging Florida. I'm not, but you know, there is some intrigue there. We all remember the election, you know.
No, there
chads
certainly
and
is.
so
There's
forth.
always intrigue.
Yes.
That's right. There always is. I can tell you 5 weeks ago here in the 16th Congressional District, it's not likely that anybody outside of the state of Florida probably knew where the 16th Congressional District was. And then after the Mark Foley scandal broke, many experts said that there was no way the Republicans could hold on to control, which they've had for 25 years in this district. Well, times have changed in 4 short weeks. This has become a real battle between the Republicans and the Democrats, and both candidates are now claiming that when all is said and done, they're going to be the winner.
In the final hours before Election Day, Republican Joe Negron campaigned for votes at a busy intersection. A month ago, Negron's political future intersected with the political demise of Congressman Mark Foley. Handpicked by the Republican Party to replace Foley, many experts felt there was no way Negron could overcome the congressional page scandal. But in 4 weeks, Negron has gone from no shot to long shot to a real shot.
And this is a conservative district, and we want change, but we want conservative change. And so that's one reason I think that this campaign has really taken off.
In a district encompassing 8 counties, from the West Coast to the East Coast, Negron and his Democratic opponent, Tim Mahoney, have put in a lot of miles.
I'm Tim Mahoney. I'm running for Congress.
Mahoney has seen his double-digit lead evaporate, but still believes people will vote for change.
If you think that we can do better, if you think that we can work together better in Washington, we can restore our values, I'm the person that's going to go up there and make those changes.
Bottom line, this election is likely to be much closer than either party thought just a month ago.
Now, it's been quiet here at this polling station in the last hour or so, but it was steady for the most part during the day, but no long lines. A lot of that may be attributable to the fact that we have early voting in the state of Florida, and the supervisors of elections in Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties are reporting that about 12% of registered voters took advantage of early voting or absentee voting here in Florida. And the Secretary of State's office, Don, reporting that no major glitches so far here on Election Day at any of the precincts. Don?
Hey, John Zarelli, we're talking about intrigue. Here's a little bit of intrigue. When voters there go to vote, Mark Foley's name is still on the ballot, so they can't help but think about it. And is it causing any confusion? Maybe not, but like I said, you can't help but think about what happened.
Oh, no question about it. His name is on the ballot, and I guess if you're the Republicans, you're hoping it's not causing any confusion. What happened was that If you can take a look at the Palm Beach County ballot, the electronic ballot, this is what the voters are seeing. They see Mark Foley's name there. Republicans have said right along that they believe the people here are sophisticated enough to figure it out. They actually have made somewhat of a little campaign slogan out of it, and they say punch Foley for Negron. And if voters do still have a problem when they get here, they can ask one of the supervisors at the polling places, and they will be handed a sheet of paper which tells them a vote for Negron, a vote for Foley is a vote for Negron, vote for Mahoney is a vote for Mahoney. So hopefully the confusion is alleviated, Don.
Yeah, and I'm sure people are sophisticated enough to figure it out. Thank you, John Zarella.
Exactly.
You vote, they watch. Federal observers at the polls. That story straight ahead from the newsroom.
And join us tonight for the races, the results, and the ramifications. CNN Election Primetime begins at 7 p.m. Eastern. Wolf Blitzer, Anderson Cooper, Paula Zahn, and Lou Dobbs lead the best political team on television as your votes are counted. And our coverage continues with a special edition of Larry King Live. That's at midnight. Hear from winners and losers across the country, plus expert analysis only on CNN, America's campaign headquarters.
Escape to a world of vibrant color, captivating design, and luxurious style with Stainmaster Carpet. During the Stainmaster Carpet 20th anniversary celebration, experience a whole new era in style and beauty for your home. Stainmaster Carpet, always stylish, always beautiful. For a retailer near you, visit stainmaster.com.
With unmatched technology and innovation years ahead of its time, we've pushed the boundaries of high definition and tested the limits of reality. The new Pure Vision Plasma Display, only from Pioneer.
Closed captioning hours on CNN, sponsored in part by Oric Vacuums. Nothing gets by an Oric.
Is your vacuum as powerful as an 8-pound Oric XL? Try it risk-free for 30 days.
New Smart Balance microwave popcorn with no hydrogenated oil and no trans fatty acids. From Smart Balance buttery spreads to help improve the ratio of good to bad cholesterol. Try Smart Balance microwave popcorn, but please don't tell the kids it's healthy.
Here's a radically simple suggestion from eLoan. If your adjustable mortgage rate keeps rising, maybe it's time to call eLoan at 1-800-TRY-ELOAN or go to eLoan.com for a fixed rate mortgage with one low monthly payment. eLoan. Radically simple.
A woman taking her company to new heights on today's Blue Chips. After 20 years in the banking industry, Sally Jewell switched gears and signed on with outdoor retail giant REI. Last year, she rose to CEO, and the co-op scored a record $1 billion in revenue.
Success certainly is defined financially, but success is also defined by what kind of a difference you're making in the lives of people around you.
Jewell is leaving her mark by extending health benefits to part-time employees and donating more than $4 million to outdoor recreation and conservation causes this year.
Best piece of advice I've ever received came from a friend, and he talked about living his life in thirds. A third for family, a third for the community, and a third for work.
Blue Chips, sponsored by Lincoln Financial Group, providing powerful financial resources to help you say hello future.
Hey guys, y'all set? Y'all buckled in here? Bye-bye, Eddie.
So how was the first day?
You know, I think my dad was wrong. Maybe I do have a future as a ski bum.
Retirement isn't an end. It's the start of what you were meant for all along. So grab your skis and say, hello, future. Call your advisor about the retirement resources of Lincoln Financial Group.
I'm Ron Michaels, and this is my story. I've been playing since I was in 7th grade. That's what makes my life worthwhile. I have joint problems in my hands. It hurts when you try to go up and you pick up the horn, and you're trying to play, you move your fingers, and you're just not doing what you want. When I take a leave, It takes away all the pain I have. I can move it now, just like I was when I was young. I feel so good I can do something like this. Aleve gives me my life back. That's what it does.
Well, he's tracking the trouble. Ali Velshi, what's going on in Colorado?
Well, looks like we've just heard from the Director of Communications for the Colorado Democratic Party. The party is citing what they call huge problems in Denver this morning in voting. So lawyers for the Democratic Party in Colorado have told us they are en route to the district court to file a request for a 2-hour extension in voting in all of Denver County. They're talking about severe problems relating to the polls when they opened this morning. They said that the poll books, which show the names of registered voters, were not ready, and as a result, there were long lines, and a lot of people left without voting because the sites ran out of provisional ballots. Now, we are tracking this because so far Indiana is the only state, Delaware County in Indiana around Muncie is the only state to have been granted a court order to extend its polling until 8:45 p.m. tonight. So we're going to track this so that we have a sense of where polling is actually delayed as a result of things that people are concerned about. We have had, as we discussed, many examples, Kira, of people being turned away because of incorrect identification and a lot of complaints about delays or things going on with voting machines. But we're not seeing a lot of counties or certainly states requesting extensions in voting time. That may happen later in the night, but so far we've got Indiana on the books. We now have this situation in Colorado, which we're following closely.
All right, we'll talk to you again probably about 30 minutes. Sound good?
Yeah,
Thanks.
We'll check back later.
All right, Ali.
Okay.
Dangling, hanging, pregnant, remember those? The Chads of 2000? Well, this year, new election technology may solve some of the mechanical problems, but it may cause problems of its own, as may human error or misbehavior. That's why the feds have unleashed a pack of watchdogs to stand close guard. Very interesting. CNN's Kelly Arena has more on that from Washington. Tell us all about it.
A record number of watchdogs.
Wow.
That's right. The Justice Department dispatched more than 850 federal observers and federal monitors to 22 states, and their job is to carefully watch this midterm election. But DOJ isn't commenting publicly on any of the allegations that we've heard Ali talk about of possible violation of voting rights. They do remind voters that civil rights lawyers are manning a hotline. I think we have that number. It's 1-800-253-3931, Justice Department hotline. Lawyers on standby for any questions or complaints. The goal here is to make sure that those who can vote and actually show up at the polls get to do just that without any problems.
1964, the murder of 3 young voting rights activists in Mississippi, made famous in the movie Mississippi Burning, led to passage of the Voting Rights Act. Remarkably, 4 decades later, the kind of discrimination they were trying to stop still threatens U.S. elections in some places, prompting the Justice Department to dispatch more than 800 election observers and monitors, the most ever.
It's very effective in the sense that not only are they there to help guard against possible abuses, they're there to help correct problems on the ground if they occur.
One concern, in states with tight races, there could be more incentive for mischief. Juan Kim leads the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division.
Obviously, the tighter the race is, the more heated the rhetoric becomes, and sometimes the more flagrant violations may occur there.
Activists have urged DOJ to be particularly aggressive in places like California, where letters were mailed to Hispanic immigrants telling them they could go to jail if they voted.
We had testimony from all over the country, people talking about examples of purposeful, intentional discrimination against Black, Latino, Native American, and Asian voters.
Civil rights activist Julie Fernandez says discrimination these days is more subtle, but the motive's the same.
We've seen examples of that where Anglo voters in some jurisdictions are told, oh, I know you. Oh, you don't need your ID. Come on in, Bob. But the Latino voters are asked, are you a citizen? Wait, where's your picture ID? It's that kind of discrimination in how the laws are implemented.
While a record number of DOJ monitors will be watching, voters should not even know they're there.
The trick here is for those observers and monitors to remain anonymous. And monitors don't want to be intimidating because actually that's what they're there to prevent, right? So if they see a violation, they are instructed to immediately report it to a supervisor who will then alert local election officials and try to deal with that problem immediately. John?
And the FBI is involved in all this, right?
Well, that's right. FBI headquarters also isn't commenting on any election irregularities at this point, but it does have jurisdiction to conduct investigations if something goes wrong. Now, the Bureau has, for the first time, election coordinators at every one of its 56 field offices. Those people are designated to take complaints, look into potential violations of federal voting laws, not state, federal voting laws, and then start an investigation if they think one is warranted.
Kelly Arena, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
An open Senate seat in Maryland, one of the big races that could change the balance of power in Washington.
Plus, let's talk weather. Rain, flooding, it is a soggy mess, and the weather will play a role at the polls. That's coming up in the CNN Newsroom.
At Coors, we have a responsibility to help prevent underage drinking. As a parent, I understand that responsibility. 75% of teens say parents are their #1 influence as they decide to drink or not. That's why Coors brings you MVParents.com, a website built by Search Institute, experts on youth development. Here you'll find tools to empower your teens to make the right decisions. So visit MVParents.com and know that we at Coors are as committed as you are to preventing underage drinking.
What really happens when our war veterans come home? Healing the scars. An unforgettable Anderson Cooper 360. CNN Monday night, 10 Eastern.
News Channel 8 at 10 on Portland CW. Your choice for the #1 news station. With the largest team of reporters bringing you breaking news from around the city, the country, and the world. The most respected meteorologist with the forecast to plan your day ahead. And sports highlights. The area's most watched, most honored news team. All in a convenient half hour at a time that works for you. Northwest News Channel 8 at 10 on Portland CW, the 10 o'clock choice.
Illegal immigrants are here because there are jobs, right?
A lot of them are doing jobs nobody else wants to do.
If we stop the flow of jobs, we stop illegal immigration.
I'm Chuck Riley. For companies who knowingly hire illegal workers, it's time to crack down with harsh fines and jail time. And we need to arrest and prosecute human traffickers who smuggle people into our country. George Bush won't do the job, so we'll just get it done here in Oregon.
Representative Chuck Riley. He's fighting for us.
Oregon's waited a long time for results from Ted Kulongoski. But Ted's time is up. Newspapers call Kulongoski a no-show governor who has not stepped up to lead. Ron Saxton will change Oregon with education reform, more money into classrooms, a focus on results. He'll hold the line on taxes, cut waste, control spending, with leadership, not partisanship. Kulongoski won't make the changes Oregon needs, but you can. Ron Saxton for governor.
Attention, America. We're the slow party.
And we want
Be still with Bill.
Bill.
Be still with Bill.
Bill.
This isn't only about you.
Well, nothing rhymes with Carolyn. If you have an unrhymable name, it's your downfall.
What about we're for slow?
What about not? What about Be still with Bill? Be still with Bill.
Join the slow party and help them find a slogan at theslowskis.org.
Election night's best moments and biggest surprises. American Morning, 5 a.m.
The President and First Lady arriving back in Washington, D.C., of course, to follow Election Day and all the numbers and tallies that come in later on this evening. As you know, they voted when they were in Crawford, Texas today, not far from the ranch. They went down the road, cast their votes. Now they're back safely in D.C.
All right, let's move on and talk about the weather. We'll keep a close eye on the president. The rain is easing, but the damage is done. Record flooding across western Washington state. The quickly rising rivers caught hundreds of people in low-lying areas by surprise. Some drivers, too, were caught by surprise. This man, one of them, take a look at it. He had to crawl on top of his car while he waited for the National Guard to rescue him. The governor has already declared states of emergency in 18 counties. Look at that. It is a soggy election day for some of us, and Rob Marciano is in our weather center. Which voters need umbrellas? And it looks like they need more than that, Rob.
You know, the Northwest, no stranger to rainfall, but when you get all that rainfall in a matter of 2 or 3 days, and it's still coming down now, even those ever fish and rivers can't handle. And as you mentioned, 18 counties under a state of emergency. There's spots where 20 highways have been shut down. And then the list of rivers that are in flood stage goes all the way down the I-5 corridor, including the Olympic Peninsula, and down into the Willamette Valley as well. Here's a radar from Seattle to Portland to Eugene. It is raining in spots heavily, but it will be coming to an end later on today and then tapering off a little bit tonight. The other problem spot's going to be across the southeast. You saw the president there in D.C. With the umbrella up already. The rainfall will be moving up the eastern seaboard and heading into Delmarva area throughout the afternoon. So there you go. As far as what we expect, this yellow and orange and red indicates over the next 24 hours we could see an inch or two or more of precipitation from South Carolina and through western and central parts of North Carolina, western parts of Virginia, and in through western parts of Maryland as well. So kind of a messy day across the southeast, and Maryland, one of those spots where we're going to see a tight race. But these are the states that we've highlighted where we think there's an issue as far as a slight impact being yellow, orange meaning a high impact, and that would include the Carolinas and through parts of Georgia. Anywhere you see green, it's a really nice day across the central part of the country, the northeast, the southwest, those highly populated areas. And there you go, flooding range across the Pacific Northwest. Idaho will see some rainfall as well. This is not a snowmaker. Snow level's very high with this. At about 8,000 feet, they will drop down tomorrow to about 5,000 feet, and that will help lock up some of the moisture in the mountains, so that's a good thing. 59 degrees in the meantime in Portland for a high today. 86, so Santa Ana winds still hanging around in Los Angeles, although they'll be diminishing. 59 degrees in Chicago and New York with little, if any, rain today. The rain will get to the New York area later on tonight, so that's when we expect it, and into tomorrow could see some heavy rain. And tomorrow, record highs across the central part of the country, and then, as mentioned, some showers, but mostly mountain snow across the Pacific Northwest. That's what's happening weather-wise on this election day. Don and Kira, back over to you.
Thanks, Rob. Well, Rialto finito, or almost. Overnight, firefighters in Southern California got the upper hand on the Rialto blaze, which this time yesterday was threatening hundreds of homes. It destroyed a lumber yard and caused about $1 million in damage, but so far as we know, no one was hurt. The fire was started by sparks and hot metal from a welding crew working on nearby Interstate 15.
A big Senate battle in New Jersey. It could help tilt the balance of power on Capitol Hill. That's coming up in the CNN newsroom.
I'm Tracy Durfee, and this is my story. The arthritis in my hand affects everything I do. Picking up a pen, shifting the car, just living your life would sometimes just hurt. I depend on Aleve. I can get through my everyday without being in pain. I take the Aleve and I keep going.
Here's to men, to guys who want to spend more time having fun and less time in the men's room. To guys who want to play a lot more and go less often. And here's to Flomax. It's approved to treat male urinary symptoms due to BPH, also called an enlarged prostate. In 1 week, Flomax may help symptoms like frequently waking up at night to go, going often, going urgently, weak stream. For you, Flomax could make a difference in 1 week. Ask your doctor if symptoms are from BPH, not prostate cancer. Common side effects of Flomax are runny nose, dizziness, and decrease in semen. Upon standing, a sudden decrease in blood pressure may occur, rarely resulting in fainting. So when starting Flomax, avoid situations where injury could result. For more information, call 877-4FLOMAX. Ask your doctor about Flomax. Flomax could make a difference in 1 week.
A 1,000-year love story that reaches from the past.
We find the elixir of immortality
Through the present.
Death is a disease. I will find a cure. Together we will live forever.
The Fountain, a film by Darren Aronofsky. Rated PG-13. Starts November 22nd.
Way back then, we had the horse and carriage.
There was no television then. People listen to the radio.
Get the clothes out, wash them on the washboard. The 45 would drop and it would play.
If you held the rabbit ears in exactly the right position.
I used to have to parallel park myself.
When something really fits, you can feel it. Like the fit you get with C-Bond denture adhesive. It's the only wafer that has a gasket effect that locks dentures in place. Only C-Bond gives you all-over coverage, all-over hold in a wafer. No mess, no ooze.
When your dentures really fit, you can feel it.
Now, lock dentures in place with C-Bond, the adhesive wafer with the gasket fit. C-Bond.
The CNN Hummer has seen a war, an overhaul, and now it tours Army bases before it's auctioned off January 20th to benefit Fisher House. Check out CNN.com Warrior One. This Hummer saw war. Now it will help those who fought it.
The debates are over, the ads, pro and con, silence. Today, finally, it's the voters' turn. The president, not on a ballot today, but every member of the House of Representatives is, along with a third of the nation's senators and a good many governors.
And once the polls close, some states with the least amount of people could speak with the loudest voices. Races in Montana or Rhode Island, for instance, could tip the balance of power in the U.S. Senate.
A lot of House races are also in play, and the Republican majority is slim. Democrats need to pick up 15 seats to take control.
CNN has every angle covered. The best political team in television has fanned out to all the major battlegrounds. We'll be checking in with them throughout the afternoon.
If Democratic hopes are high anywhere, it is Ohio. The state that tipped the 2004 presidential election to George W. Bush is home to a 2006 Senate race between Republican incumbent Mike DeWine and Democrat Sherrod Brown. The governor's mansion and some key congressional seats are also up for grabs. CNN's Bob Franken is in Columbus.
Voter turnout throughout Ohio has thus far been described as significant. The predictions were that there would be a record for a midterm election, close to 55%. And if the results at this poll in Columbus are any example, that's going to be realized. The lines, certainly this morning as the polls open, were fairly substantial. There's always a drop-off in the middle of the day and then a crunch that's expected as the day goes on. There are some concerns throughout Ohio that there may be problems counting because of the electronic voting machines and some voter identification procedures, but everybody is hoping for the best. Certainly, the candidates are the most prominent race, the U.S. Senate race. The Republican incumbent Mike DeWine voted at his home near the Dayton area of Ohio, voted, of course, for himself. We can only assume that, as well as the Republican ticket. His favorite in the polls, Democratic opponent Sherrod Brown, voted at his home, in his home district, west of the Cleveland area. Then both candidates went around to express to their various supporters their appreciation for the efforts in what has been an intense campaign. Of course, Ohio is also caught up in battles for governor, where the Democrat is almost assured, if the polls are correct, of taking over from the Republican, as well as various House races. At least 5 of the 22 districts in Ohio are competitive or look to be bad for Republicans. But the Republican Party particularly has an impressive get-out-the-vote record. The party is hoping that Ohio becomes a state where there is a huge upset and they do better than expected. Bob Franken, CNN, Columbus, Ohio.
Republicans are hoping to pick up a Senate seat in traditionally Democratic Maryland. Lieutenant Governor Michael Steele is taking on Democratic Congressman Ben Cardin. It's the first time Maryland will elect a new senator in 20 years. Our Brian Todd standing by in Bowie, Maryland. Hey, Brian.
Hi, Kira. You said taking on, and that is absolutely right. Michael Steele has made this a horse race and made this actually a borderline battleground state. The Democrats were worried about losing New Jersey. They might want to worry about losing Maryland. Michael Steele, the Republican lieutenant governor, in some polls and in some experts' eyes, has pulled almost into a dead-even heat with Democratic Congressman Ben Cardin. That is because of Steele's personal style. He is really connected with voters. He has gotten to know them very well. He's put out some effective ads. He has also taken on Cardin quite aggressively in the debates. He really got Cardin flustered one time. That, though, has also crept into the overall tenor of the campaign nationwide. Voters and others here accusing the candidates of being overly negative with the ads and with the overall demeanor in their debates. We talked to a couple of voters today as they left the polling places about that negative tenor of the campaign.
I've been very disappointed. It's made me suspicious and a bit cynical. because I look for integrity and honesty, and I'm having a difficult time sifting through all the other stuff that's negative.
I think a savvy citizen really needs to do a lot of research and determine why they're voting for whom, and then make up their decision, and then tune out the rest of the stuff that you hear a week or two before the elections, because all of that is garbage.
And we will see how the voters react today. The polls are going to close here at 8 p.m. Kira, a couple of very close races to talk about. Back to you.
All right, tell us about the governor's race.
Governor's race is one of those close races, pulled into a dead heat. Republican Governor Bob Ehrlich campaigning hard. We talked to him earlier today. He came by our polling place. He's been all over the state. He is the first Republican governor here in a couple of decades, and he is in a virtual dead heat with Baltimore Mayor Martin O'Malley. This, again, is a very, very heavily Democratic state. It was a surprise when Governor Ehrlich was elected 4 years ago. He has run a strong campaign. That he is even at 50-50, some analysts believe is actually a good mark for the Republicans and bodes well for them tonight. But again, some of these close races will be interesting because of the absentee balloting question. Because of all the problems with electronic voting in this state, the governor and other politicians have asked voters, some of them to use absentee ballots, to use provisional ballots. Well, those aren't even going to be counted until late this week and early next week. So if the governor's race is close and if the Senate race is close, we may not know those results until next week.
Brian Todd in Maryland. Thanks, Brian.
New Jersey is one of the states where Democrats are having to defend a Senate seat. Republican Tom Kean is challenging incumbent Robert Menendez, who was appointed, not elected, to replace John Corzine when Corzine was elected governor. Our Alan Chernoff is in Mountainside, New Jersey, where we understand there have been some breaking develops, Alan?
Well, that's one way of putting it. We're at the scene of a crime, if we can call it that. Here's exactly what transpired, and we are at Tom Kean for Senator headquarters here in Mountainside, New Jersey. 4:45 this morning, the front door to the building actually locked up with a chain and a lock. One staffer is inside of the office. He comes out, he tries to come out, discovers that he is locked inside. He calls the police. 7 a.m., an employee of the Dorf Feature Service, a local newswire, which also has offices here, tries to get in. She discovers that the 3 side doors are all jammed with broken keys. She comes out here and sees that, in fact, the front door is still locked up. 7:45, the police come and they cut it open. Who is behind all of this? Well, the Kean campaign has a few ideas. Evan Koslow is the campaign manager. Who do you think did this?
Well, clearly, Bob Menendez's campaign have employed tactics like this throughout the campaign. Whether it was having criminal inmates come out in order to disrupt press conferences, it's having people try to storm our offices over the weekend. These are the types of tactics that a party boss from Hudson County would employ.
So you're saying that the opponent actually stooped to something like this?
I believe absolutely that our opponent, his supporters, approve of these types of tactics, and they've done it before in this campaign. And here on Election Day, they continue to do it.
Well, the Menendez camp says that your charges are ridiculous. They also say this is the biggest stunt since Britney Spears' 3 a.m. Vegas wedding. That's how they responded to it.
Well, the Menendez campaign has also tried to disavow that Bob Menendez is under a federal criminal investigation, but we all know that that's true. People in New Jersey have a choice to make today. Do they want a proven reformer in Tom Kean, or do they want a party boss from Hudson County who's under a federal criminal investigation? I think people are going to choose Tom Kean today.
Okay, well, that clearly gives everyone a sense of what this campaign has been like, just how heated it has been and how dirty, frankly, it has been as well. The Menendez camp denying everything that Evan just said. Back to you.
Alan, I think that is a first that I've ever heard of that. Thank you. Alan Chernoff reporting from Broadband from Mountainside, New Jersey.
He's campaigned, he's voted. Now, like the rest of us, all he can do is wait. Although George W. Bush's job isn't on the line, the results of today's elections could make or break the rest of his term in office. CNN's Kathleen Koch live at the White House. Kathleen.
And Kira, yes, they are abundantly aware of that fact that it could be a very rough 2 years if the Democrats take either House of Congress, the House or the Senate. And of course, President Bush is doing his level best to make sure that that doesn't happen. He and the First Lady voting early this morning in Crawford, Texas. The president on the road campaigning long and hard the last 10 days, hitting some 15 rallies in 12 states. Still this morning after voting, the president opted to pull any partisan punches.
Laura and I know it's a privilege to be able to cast our vote, and I encourage all Americans to vote today. We live in a free society, and our government is only as good as the willingness of our people to participate in it. And therefore, no matter what your party affiliation, or if you don't have a party affiliation, do your duty. Cast your ballot and let your voice be heard.
Well, President Bush arrived back here at the White House just minutes ago, and next on the agenda is watching the returns. White House spokesperson Dana Perino says that President Bush will be inviting top White House staffers and others to join him for a 7 p.m. dinner to monitor the results, to call candidates. Among those on the roster are Chief of Staff Josh Bolten, top strategist Karl Rove, also the Republican National Committee Chairman Ken Mehlman. Now, we're told, though, that the president himself will not be making any comments today on the results of the voting, that we will have to wait until tomorrow to hear what he thinks about them. Kira.
What about Dick Cheney? What's he doing today?
Well, Dick Cheney voted early in Wyoming. It's one of those states where that's permissible. So, Kira, right now he's on a hunting trip in South Dakota. He made a similar hunting trip 4 years ago, and so this is, again, what he likes to do. As the election returns come in, his daughter Mary is with him, also his political director. They're going to be helping him track the returns. This is the first hunting trip since that one back in February where he accidentally shot his friend Harry Whittington. We've heard no reports of any mishaps on this one, though.
We'll keep our fingers crossed that he stays right on target.
Right,
Kathleen Koch. All right, thanks a lot.
You bet.
Well, glued to the tube for election coverage, add CNN Pipeline to your plans. Watch the winners, track the losers with 4 live feeds, live blogger reaction, campaign coverage you won't find anywhere else. Go to CNN.com/pipeline.
Problems at the polls? Well, if there are any, our Ali Velshi is keeping tabs on precincts. There he is live. He's checking them around the nation. We'll check in with Ali when the newsroom continues.
I'm in the mood for love, simply because you're near me. Oh, is it any wonder? I'm in the mood for love.
Women, at last, heighten your sexual intimacy. Introducing Zestra for Women, a patented blend of all-natural oils clinically proven to heighten sexual arousal and pleasure. Arouse your sexuality with Zestra for you and your relationship.
10 years ago, I was in New York performing and I collapsed on stage.
Patti LaBelle has diabetes.
I had no idea. My blood glucose level was 500. Food was the enemy back then.
One Touch Ultra 2 with before and after meal averages can help you see how food affects your blood sugar. Learn how by calling 1-877-311-2311 and you'll receive this free educational DVD.
I can enjoy food again.
One Touch changes everything.
What if millions of gallons of sewage spilled into your local waterway? It happened to a beloved beach. A concrete sewer main ruptured, endangering public health. JMM was there to supply an emergency sewer bypass line with polyethylene pipe known for its zero leak rates, durability, and corrosion resistance. The beach is safe again, thanks in part to JM Manufacturing, the world's #1 producer of plastic pipe. Ask for JMM, building essentials for a better tomorrow.
The best political team on television tells it like it really is. Wolf Blitzer, Anderson Cooper, Lou Dobbs, Paula Zahn, and Larry King. Election night, CNN Tonight, 7.
Oregon's waited a long time for results from Ted Kulingoski. But Ted's time is up. Newspapers call Kulingoski a no-show governor who has not stepped up to lead. Ron Saxton will change Oregon with education reform, more money into classrooms, a focus on results. He'll hold the line on taxes, cut waste, control spending, with leadership, not partisanship. Kulingoski won't make the changes Oregon needs, but you can. Ron Saxton for governor.
It's time for movies.
movies on demand, like having a theater at your command. Hundreds of flicks from A to Z. With Comcast, see them totally free.
Watch them from your couch.
Or in your bed.
And you can eat popcorn out of my head.
Free movies on demand. Anytime you want, no need to plan. Free movies on demand.
Watch hundreds of movies free with On Demand from Comcast Digital Cable.
It's Comcastic.
Meet the heroes of Baghdad's Combat Hospital. CNN Saturday and Sunday night, 8 Eastern.
Closed captioning hours provided by Nature's Tears Eye Mist Dry Relief.
Nature's Tears Eye Mist, the natural way to soothe and moisturize tired, strained, dry eyes. Nature's Tears Eye Mist. Now, doesn't that feel better?
Look at that live shot. It's Manhattan. And what is that? That is our CNN election bus right on the streets of Manhattan. Election Express, right across from the Duane Reade. Folks were stopping by earlier saying hello. Let's stop by and talk
Free
to
coffee.
somebody else. Free coffee, yeah, if it's free, why not? Well, this next guy is usually watching the Bulls and the Bears, and we're not talking about football or basketball teams.
What do you know about Duane Reade?
Allie's tracking. What do you mean? I lived in New York for 7 years.
Oh, because I don't think anybody, most people in the country, it's an institution in New York.
Yeah.
Every block has a Duane Reade drugstore.
It's like a Walgreens. So are you tracking squirrels today? And by the way, you are at the problem desk. It sounds like where I used to go in
I'm at
elementary
the issues
school.
desk, the problem desk, the
Yeah.
regularity desk. There's nothing good that can come out of this.
Well, what's happening? We do have some problems, though, happening.
We do
What's
have problems. We have some problems that we're tracking right now. First of all, of the major problems that we're seeing today, a lot of them have to do with voters and identification. And in Ohio, Representative Gene Schmidt was one of those people, another one of those people who went to vote. And it wasn't an ID problem she had. She went to scan her ballot after went to put it in the optical scan. You can see this. Didn't work. Didn't work. Kept not working. Kept giving it back. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So in the end, what happened is they put it in a box. They locked it in a box that apparently they're going to scan later on. We have had other reports of that happening. A lot of them are coming into CNN.com on iReport, and we appreciate all the viewers who are sending that in because we are checking every single one of those
And
reports.
you know if it's happening to her, it's happening to other
It's
folks
happening to a lot of people,
Right.
exactly. The other major stories we're following, there's a polling place in Wisconsin where it's at a school. There's been a bomb threat. They've been investigating it, and because there's been a delay in figuring the whole thing out, they have moved the polling station in Wisconsin in November, outdoors and across the road.
And it's cold in Wisconsin.
It is cold, but I guess because it's cold, they don't want people waiting in lines for a long time. The officials there have said that if this goes on for a long time, they'll figure out a way to get everybody voting. So that's
What's up
under
with
control.
these squirrels, Allie? What do you? what's the
Squirrels caused a power outage in Oklahoma, which put a town of 6,000 out of commission, and people there weren't able to vote. But apparently they got that under control, too. People are resilient. They will vote.
Yeah, but we've been showing you all those long lines that you.
Yeah, and part of those long lines in Denver, we also have a problem there where people have been. There were some problems getting some of these, getting the books, the registering books open and ready for people this morning. So as a result, we reported on this a little earlier. The Democratic Party in Colorado is filing a motion with court to have the polls extended there. We've not had confirmation that that's been done yet, but as soon as we do, we'll let you know about that. So there are a couple places that we talked about. Indiana earlier in the day, where the polls are going to be extended till 8:45. We'll keep you posted on that. The other thing, Don, we're tracking. We've got people on the ground checking out the situation in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, where there have been numerous reports of voting machine failures. But we want to confirm those and bring you the accurate story as soon as we've got it.
Wow, Allie, on top of all of it. Thank you very much.
I'm a guy with issues, Don.
You got some issues.
Don't forget that.
We're going to check back with you and your issues in the next hour.
Thank you.
All righty.
The politicking, handshaking, mudslinging, well, they're finally over. Time for the voters to have their say. Control of Congress and lots of governorships at stake. Joining us from Washington, CNN political analyst Bay Buchanan, political consultant Julian Epstein. Bay, Julian, Will Durst, political pundit, started talking about everybody having their predictions. Take a listen to what he said.
If anybody can snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, it's the Democrats. The only reason they're flying high is because Republicans have dug themselves such a deep hole. They can feel the heat from the core of the earth. And we saw John Kerry try to take the ladder away from them earlier this week.
Feeling the heat, Bay?
Well, he makes an excellent point. There's no question that anything can happen today. It looked as if Democrats should do very, very well over the last couple of weeks. But things have turned around. A lot of things are closed. And, of course, it comes down to one thing: who gets their votes out. Republicans are known to do a very good job. But this is, without question, this election is about Republicans. Republicans are upset with Republicans. Independents are upset with them. What has the leadership in the Republican Party done to have caused us to end up in such a close election? That, I think, is the question of the day.
Julian, is that the question of the day?
I hate to agree with Bay. I think that is. I think people are voting against Republicans more so than for Democrats this time. And Democrats should be a little chastened by that as they try to figure out, if they do, in fact, take one or both houses of Congress, what their agenda ought to be. And that agenda, they ought to, I think, lower expectations, particularly on things like Iraq and even domestic policy and investigations. But I think Bay is right. I think that the races, I think particularly the Senate races, have narrowed in the last 3 or 4 days. I think the major question comes at turnout, and this is a bit of a paradox because the Democratic base is much more energized than the Republican base, as many of us have been saying. On the other hand, Republicans are much better at the game of getting out the vote than are Democrats, and Democrats are playing catch-up. So I don't think that we'll see a lot of surprises. I think the Democrats will take the House. I think it's a toss-up in the Senate. But I think a lot of these races are going to be a lot closer than we thought.
Executive editor of Weekly Standard, Fred Barnes, wrote this article for the Wall Street Journal talking about, is the GOP blowing it time after time? He writes, Republicans gave up the fight on Social Security. They raised the immigration issue, touted it as a national crisis, stirred the nation's interest, then failed to come to grips with it. The tax issue also quickly faded away. Bay?
Well, you know, I disagree with some of those points. However, I do agree in the overall issue here is it's one thing to lose if Republicans that have been out there fighting and passing legislation that might have been controversial, whatever it be, but they haven't done that. You know, this immigration issue they finally addressed late. And then they push it through. A lot of people think the fence was nothing but a campaign ploy. And so what do they stand for? How do we define the Republican Party today? They're not small government. They did cut some taxes. We're into a war that's not popular. I think Republicans are going to have to sit back and hopefully this election, we'll win it. And then we'll reassess and say, look, we got to offer American people a bit more than we've been doing in the last couple of years.
Julian, what do you think about what Fred said, the GOP just blowing it time and after time?
I think that's exactly correct. I think that this is the Katrina president and the Katrina Republican Party. Most people now associate this president, and to a lesser extent, but still to a significant extent, the Republican Party with the disastrous recovery in Katrina. And what that means is that the public doesn't really believe what this president and White House says when it comes to things like weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, the ability to win the war in Iraq, the whole fiasco in Katrina. I think that they don't believe fundamentally this White House anymore. And as importantly, they don't believe that this White House is very competent. You pepper that with a few scandals, and on top of that, the fact that this Republican Congress for 6 years has delivered very little, has not delivered really on tax reform, on Social Security, on immigration, or any of the other big-ticket items, and it's a big recipe for failure. And I think the public perceives that. The public wants change. Again, the real question is, what is the mandate for change? People are voting against Republicans. Democrats tomorrow, the hard work really begins if they take over one of the houses, which is going to mean they're going to have to define what is the mandate for change, what are the expectations, and that's where the real trickiness is.
Well, speaking of change, Nancy Pelosi could make history here. I want to get both of you to react to this. George Gallo, Connecticut GOP chairman, in an email to reporters said, in these close races in Connecticut, there are a few things that motivate Republicans and independents more to vote for our candidates than the thought of Nancy Pelosi being 2 heartbeats from the presidency. What do you think about Nancy Pelosi, Bay?
There's no question that is an accurate statement. And indeed, it could be that the Democrats lose the House because of Nancy Pelosi. I was out in Indiana for several days campaigning for Congressman Hofstadter this last week, and I can't tell you, there's Democrats coming up to both the congressmen, and I heard it from them as well, saying there's only one issue in this campaign. It's Nancy Pelosi. I'm a Democrat, but I cannot vote for a party that will put her as Speaker. So I think there is some real feelings out there that this party, Nancy Pelosi party, is too liberal. The Democrats have not offered much in any kind of a way of explaining what they would do that the Republicans haven't done. In addition to that, the faces of the Democrat leadership is a much more liberal face, whether it's John Kerry, Howard Dean, or Nancy Pelosi, than Middle America. And I believe that may help, if not be the reason why Republicans hold the House.
Julian, she's known to have a very divisive relationship with the president.
Well, and the president, likewise, a divisive relationship with her. I think there's no question she is a bit of a lightning rod, but I think at the same time, many, many Republicans underestimate this woman. This will likely be the first woman Speaker of the House of Representatives, which is a real milestone. She didn't get into that position by being any dummy. She's really a very, very smart and savvy politician. And look, she understands that you have, like Newt Gingrich in 1994, it is a different role being the minority leader, bomb thrower, and the actual speaker where you have to govern. The Democratic Party is a very, very big tent. She has a Herculean task of trying to unify what is often a very disparate and sometimes internally undisciplined party. She understands that, and I think she also understands the benefit of trying to reach out to Republicans on a legislative agenda. I think you will see a very, very different type of House of Representatives. I think one where the partisanship is a little bit ratcheted down, not so much because, remember, we're looking at an 2008 election, but I think you'll see a genuine attempt on Nancy Pelosi to reach out to moderates and even moderate Republicans. So I think we'll see a very adversarial situation with the White House, but I think inside the actual House of Representatives itself, I think things will change for the better with her as Speaker.
Well, real quickly, and if that does happen, I want to just ask you both about Iraq real quickly. Americans want answers about the direction in Iraq, and if Democrats win a majority, a lot of analysts have said, hey, we're going to see more investigations, more hearings into the war, and will that finally change policy in Iraq? Bay?
No, not in the next 2 years. I don't. In fact, I expect that in the next 6 weeks, you're going to see an increase of military activity in Iraq. I think the president's going to increase the number of troops, and they're going to go in there and see if they can't calm down Baghdad once and for all. I think that's the only solution if he is and I agree with him that you can't just pull out. So I think you're going to see a more intense situation in Iraq once this election is over.
Julian, real quickly,
of what the results are.
You will see investigations. Democrats got to be careful to make sure those investigations are not political, but really in the public interest. I think Democrats got to enunciate a different course, which will mean a scaling back of the troops and probably a gradual partition. The Sunnis, the Shiites, and the Kurds, I think there will have to be some type of federation. Democrats are going to have to be very clear about that, and the Democrats are also going to have to be aware that if they get power back in the House of Representatives or Senate, that they're going to bear some responsibility for what happens in the outcome of Iraq. So this is a very tricky situation for them, but I think people like Carl Levin and leaders in the House side will really step up to the task. They've given this a lot of thought.
Julian Epstein, Bay Buchanan, thanks, guys. I have a feeling we'll talk tomorrow, too.
Okay.
Okay. All right, great. See you tomorrow.
Far from Mark Foley's old district in Florida, the congressional page scandal casts a very long shadow over a race in New York. That's ahead in the CNN newsroom.
Your license says you're 55. You look 45. But your osteoarthritis pain makes you feel 105. You're only 43. But chronic back pain makes you feel 93. There's been a lot of news lately about some medications for chronic pain. But there are different options your doctor can prescribe, including some that work around the clock. To learn more, call 1-800-275-9885 or visit paininformationcenter.com. It is possible to have more active days and more restful nights. So call or visit paininformationcenter.com to find a personal pain profiler that can help you and your doctor evaluate your pain. You may be 57, but age is just a number.
I was able to keep my phone number, and then when I moved, I was able to take it with me.
Vonage was so simple to set up. I did it on my own, and I was very proud of that.
Call quality is the utmost. It projects my business, and with Vonage, it's perfect.
Vonage and reliability, that just kind of goes hand in hand.
The features save you time, and that's really where I'm focused as far as cost goes.
It's made our connection that much closer. I love Vonage. There's no one else out there that fills the need that Vonage does. And I'm a lifer. I love it.
So sign up, set up, and start saving up to $300 a year on your phone bill. It's just $24.99 a month for unlimited local and long-distance calling. Vonage is a better way to phone for less.
Get 1 month free. Call 1-888-720-4VON or go to Vonage.com.
No matter what kind of business you run, you'll run it better with the new Discover Business Card, the right tool for your business. 5% cashback bonus on office supplies, 2% cashback bonus on gas, fee-free purchase checks that earn rewards. The new Discover Business Card. It works. Get 0% intro APR on every purchase for 9 months. Call 1-888-409-4BIZ to apply right now.
Let's go to the newsroom. Breaking news desk, TJ Holmes, a developing story in California.
Yeah, Don, you were talking to Allie there about the problem desk. Well, this is the breaking news desk here, but we certainly got a problem to tell you about here with a vehicle and a rescue here. A vehicle overturned. This is in the Angeles National Forest, right outside Los Angeles, and a vehicle there had gone down an embankment some 20 feet, according to LA County Fire. And the issue, they couldn't get to the occupants that quickly. They got there, and it took them some time to have to cut and extricate those folks out of that vehicle. Not sure of the condition right now of the people who are in the car. We're being told by LA County Fire that there were at least 2 people in the car. One had moderate injuries, the other were moderate to severe injuries. You're witnessing now a video we just got of the actual rescue. You can see several rescue workers, made from the LA County Fire, again having to cut folks out. And you can see kind of in the middle there, they're trying to, or here they were taking that one person out on a stretcher, it appears, and getting them to the hospital. But again, a vehicle that gone down an embankment there. So an unfortunate circumstance there for them. We're hoping to get some more information on the condition of those folks, but just bringing those pictures of a tough day for somebody there in the Angeles National Forest, Don.
Yeah, it certainly looks very serious, TJ, but still no word, as you said, no word on conditions at all.
Again, the conditions, what we were initially told by LA County Fire, with at least one person that was in the vehicle had moderate injuries. The second person, moderate to severe injuries, so don't know just how severe they may be.
All right, well, we wish them well. All right, thank you very much for that, TJ. Minimum wage increases are on the ballots in 8 states today, and now a new voice is highlighting the growing gulf between the haves and the have-nots. Susan Lasovich joins us from the New York Stock Exchange with details on that. Hey, Susan.
Hey, Don, and she is not running for office. It is nothing short of a grave warning from an unlikely source. The comments from San Francisco Federal Reserve Bank President Janet Yellen. She said that there are signs that income inequality is intensifying resistance to globalization, impairing social cohesion, and could ultimately undermine American democracy. That type of blunt language is rare, very rare for a central bank official. In a college lecture yesterday, she spotlighted the growing income and wealth gap between rich and poor. She noted that during the past 3 decades, most of the gains from strong economic growth have gone to people at the top of the income ladder. She also pointed out that inequality is higher here than in other industrialized nations, and the safety net here has more holes in it. Don.
Now, what did Ms. Yellen suggest? Any solution to the problem?
Yes, she recommended filling in those holes in the social safety net by improving education and by offering more tax credits. Those initiatives, of course, would cost money, but Yellen says that's a price well worth paying. From 1973 to 2005, inflation-adjusted wages for the richest 10% rose more than 30%, with the biggest gains in the top 1%. Meanwhile, those in the bottom half of the income scale saw their real wages grow by just 5 to 10%, and the national minimum wage has not been boosted, as you mentioned, in nearly 10 years. Voters in a number of cities and states, including Ohio and Missouri, have a minimum wage increase on today's ballots. The recent gains in the stock market have mostly benefited higher income workers as well, although 100 million Americans, that's the estimate, invest in the stock market. Stocks solidly higher again today. The Dow Industrial is coming off the best one-day gains in a month, setting a new all-time high earlier today of 12,196. The NASDAQ Composite at 6-year highs. It's up about 0.5% right now. And that's the latest from Wall Street. Coming up next hour, I'll tell you why YouTube videos may be going to the boob tube. Kara, back to you.
All right, Susan. See you again in a little bit. Big sky, big battle. Montana could swing the Senate one way or the other. We're going to check out a race that's too close to call ahead in the newsroom.
Stock Market Update. Brought to you by Caduet.
Are you like me? I have high blood pressure and I have high cholesterol. Sometimes problems come in twos, but sometimes help can come in one. Catawit. Catawit contains the leading branded blood pressure medicine, Norvasc, and Lipitor, the leading branded cholesterol medicine, combined in one pill, Catawit. Catawit is one of many treatment options that I discussed with my doctor. Ask your doctor if Catawit is right for you. Along with diet and exercise, one pill doing two jobs for me. My doctor said Catawit is not for everyone. It's not for people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. To check for liver problems, you need simple blood tests. Tell your doctor about any heart problems and all other medications you are taking, or if you experience muscle pain or weakness, as they may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. For blood pressure and cholesterol-lowering benefits, it's Catawit. One pill, two medicines. Makes sense to you? Makes sense to me. One pill, two medicines. Ask your doctor if Catawit is right for you.
Own all 7 seasons of The West Wing on DVD. 154 episodes with over 21 hours of extras.
This is a time for American heroes, and we reach for the stars.
The West Wing, the complete series, now on DVD.
Multiply your possibilities. Introducing Intel Core 2 Duo, the world's best processors.
It's time to play Take on Orbitz. This week's winner is you. That's right, you.
Orbitz Passport to Savings. Save $200 on qualifying trips to any international destination. Only when you Orbitz and go.
And don't forget your toothbrush.
Listen, your storyline, it makes for incredible TV drama. Thing is, your drug use is too adult for the kids. So I'm gonna have to block you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, have a good one.
You're a nice lady.
I had a lady and her daughter come in, kind of panicked. She was from out of town visiting her grandchildren. She left her blood pressure medication at home. I said, don't worry. We're going to take care of you. Just have a seat. So we called her pharmacy back home to transfer her prescriptions for her. And then we also called her insurance company to make sure that she wouldn't have to pay any extra. And it made us feel good to see her leave the pharmacy and to know that she can enjoy her daughter and her grandchildren. My name is Melvin Smith, and I'm a CVS pharmacist.
The CNN Hummer has seen a war, an overhaul, and now it tours Army bases before it's auctioned off January 20th to benefit Fisher House. Check out CNN.com Warrior One. This Hummer saw war. Now it will help those who fought
it. Just getting video in. California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger casting his vote there in Brentwood, California. Not far from where he lives there in Southern Cal. We saw the president voting earlier today outside of Crawford, Texas. Now the governor casting his vote there in California. Of course, shaking hands with workers, proudly putting on his sticker. Check out the big ring. I want the story behind that on his right hand. Looks like he got a, it looks like a mood ring, my director says.
It means lots
yes,
of cash.
And it's blue. So if we think about the chakra, okay, we're not going to get into all that. Anyway, evidently in a moment here, we're going to see his son. He steps up, pretends that he wants to vote. Of course, Dad doesn't let him do that. But anyway, a little photo op there with the California governor. Is that there? His son right there. Okay, now we got a shot of him. Of course, he can't vote. He's trying. He's almost there. He'll be 18 soon. All right, we're following all the bigwigs as they vote today as well.
I think the ring may be election blue.
You think so?
You either wear red or blue on election day, so he put on the ring.
Tell you what.
Thanks for playing along, by the way. All right. It's a crowded race for the top job in Texas. 5 names are on the ballot, including independent Kiki Friedman. Of course, independent doesn't really do Friedman justice. His campaign slogan is, "Vote for Kiki." Why the hell not? Well, he may be trailing in the polls, but he says it's anyone's game.
No one knows. At this time, no one knows. People just have to get off their butts and vote. And I know all over the state, young people are voting for the first time, Mike. For the first time, they're really getting involved in the process.
Friedman says he wants to de-wussify Texas, among other things, making it okay to wish people a Merry Christmas and clearing the way for Texans to light up the occasional cigar in public.
Well, a House race in western New York wasn't supposed to be close, but it is because of a scandal caused by a congressman 1,000 miles away. Deb Fayrick is in Clarence, New York. Hey, Deb.
Hey there, Kira. Well, the Buffalo News, the main paper here, decided not to endorse
either candidate. They decided not to endorse the four-term Republican incumbent Tom Reynolds. They decided not to endorse the Democratic challenger, Jack Davis. Now, Davis is a 73-year-old businessman. He's a political novice who spent about $2.5 million of his own money on this race. His spokesman said he voted earlier today and then went to the office where he did a little work and returned some calls. We were told by the spokesman for the Reynolds campaign that Tom Reynolds is voting within the hour, and then he's going to continue canvassing the district, trying to get out his constituents. Now, everybody here really understands the impact that the Foley scandal is having on this race, and that's why it's expected to be so close. Republicans and Democrats, both parties, were in state Supreme Court today asking for a statewide impoundment order. And what that means is that all paper ballots, including absentee and provisional ballots, will be collected after the polls close and brought to the Board of Elections, where they will be secured under lock and key. This way, if the race is close, nobody will be able to question, at least, the integrity of these particular ballots. Now, the voters we have seen going into the voting booth, they have been pulling the levers pretty quickly, getting in, getting out, not hesitating for a moment. They seem to know who they're voting for before they get here. We spoke to a couple earlier.
Both candidates didn't really please me. I didn't like the way they campaigned, a lot of negativity. But, you know, on this particular issue, I'm sticking with the party.
I believe that we need serious change in the country more so than in New York State, and so my interest in the congressional elections is strong. So that's probably the primary reason that I'm here.
Now, the Board of Elections tells us that everything's been running relatively smoothly. There were a couple of kinks this morning, but they seem to have worked those out. Anecdotally, we're being told that where we are and the town over, there's been a heavy voter turnout, and that's because this is the district where both of the candidates live. Kira?
Deb Fayrick in Clarence, New York. Thanks, Deb.
Neo-consternation. Supposedly, some of the biggest behind-the-scenes boosters of the war in Iraq are booing the war's execution. Take a look ahead in the CNN newsroom.
Now Promise Buttery Spread helps maintain a healthy heart when eaten instead of butter or margarine. And now it also has heart health essentials and no trans fat. No wonder hearts are beating louder. Promise Buttery Spread, taking your health to heart.
You gelling? You know I'm gelling. Hey, here's the happy groom, Bill McMillan. McMillan, you gelling?
I'm gelling and Zinfandel. So is my new bride, Mrs. Helen McMillan.
I'm so happy my eyes are welling. Did everyone try the prosciutto and melon?
We put Ultra Soft Gel in Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles. You and your feet will feel outrageously comfortable, guaranteed.
I'm gelling. You're so not gelling.
Are you gelling yet? Dr. Scholl's.
Nice and easy.
That was easy.
A third the parts, a third the time. 1/1000th the colorful language. The Speed Connect drain, only from American Standard.
At Coors, we have a responsibility to help prevent underage drinking. As a parent, I understand that responsibility. 75% of teens say parents are their #1 influence as they decide to drink or not. That's why Coors brings you MVParents.com, a website built by Search Institute, experts on youth development. Here you'll find tools to empower your teens to make the right decisions. So visit MVParents.com and know that we at Coors are as committed as you are to preventing underage drinking.
Smart Balance Buttery Spread cooks like butter, spreads like butter, and tastes like butter without the cholesterol and high saturated fat, with no hydrogenated oil and no trans fat naturally, not artificially as some spreads. Smart Balance has the right balance of fats to help improve cholesterol as part of the Smart Balance food plan, with award-winning taste endorsed by professional chefs. Smart Balance. You're going to love that buttery taste.
Closed captioning hours on CNN, sponsored in part by Oreck Vacuums. Nothing gets by an Oreck.
Is your vacuum as powerful as an 8-pound Oreck XL? Try it risk-free for 30 days.
So my room can get a little dirty, but at least my environment's getting cleaner. Like, did you know that even though the use of coal to generate electricity has tripled since 1970, emissions, they're down 35%. Here, Check it out.
Afraid to show your face? Not me.
Finally, a breakthrough solution for red, irritated skin. Aveeno Ultra Calming Moisturizer with natural feverfew proven to reduce redness fast.
When you've got healthy, beautiful skin, you're not afraid to show it.
Aveeno Ultra Calming.
He has apparently won his old job back, but Daniel Ortega says he's not the same guy who ruled Nicaragua in the turbulent 1980s. Preliminary vote counts show the former leftist Marxist Sandinista leader has won Sunday's election and struck at least a psychological blow to the Bush administration. It's less than eager to see another regional ally of Venezuela's Hugo Chavez or Cuba's Fidel Castro. Ortega, though, insists he's left his revolutionary past behind. He even adopted John Lennon's Give Peace a Chance as a campaign song.
Despite a death sentence, life goes on for Saddam Hussein, back in court for a separate genocide trial. On Sunday, the former Iraqi leader was convicted and sentenced to hang in the Dujail case. While he appeals, prosecutors are pressing on with charges in the Anfal province campaign. They say 180,000 Kurds were wiped out by Hussein's forces in 1988. One witness who said that he survived an execution squad displayed his scars in court. Hussein questioned him, then said the witness failed to connect him to the violence.
Vanity, maybe. Fair, not so much. The cry from some so-called neocons who the magazine reports are now harsh critics of the war in Iraq, a war they helped engineer. CNN's Brian Todd has that story.
He's already had plenty of moderate Republicans break with him over the Iraq war. But with Vanity Fair magazine now reporting cracks among President Bush's ideological brethren, the so-called neoconservatives who had pushed for the invasion, a political and media controversy has erupted just before Election Day.
I would argue that Vanity Fair, David Rose, cherry-picked the quotes.
The Bush administration sent the Pentagon's Michael Rubin to Iraq to advise the coalition authority, which is why it made waves when Vanity Fair reported that Rubin said President Bush has betrayed Iraqi reformers. Rubin says he didn't go that far.
I criticized the White House for being on the verge, for basically going wobbly, for being on the verge of betraying the Iraqi liberals.
In an excerpt from an upcoming issue, Vanity Fair also reports Richard Pearl, former chairman of the Pentagon's Defense Policy Board Advisory Committee, believes total U.S. defeat in Iraq is becoming more likely. Quote, "At the end of the day, you have to hold the president responsible. I don't think he realized the extent of the opposition within his own administration and the disloyalty." Pearl says Vanity Fair took him out of context and posted this on the online version of National Review. Quote, "We are on the right path in Iraq."
It will appear in the magazine.
David Rose, the Vanity Fair correspondent who interviewed these men, defends his reporting.
I don't think it's misleading. And the thing is, I mean, I was slightly surprised by their saying that, because I actually went back to the transcripts and I read again what they told me. And the truth is that the full context of those interviews, the full substance of what they said is, if anything, more critical of the administration.
Authority. Another point of contention, one of the neoconservatives, Frank Gaffney, tells me it was his understanding that these quotes would not be published until after Election Day. A Vanity Fair spokeswoman says there was no formal agreement to hold off publication. She gave a statement saying, at a time when the vice president says the administration is going full speed ahead with its Iraq policy, and when the president says Donald Rumsfeld's job is secure, the magazine felt it was in the public's interest to hear what these men had to say about the Iraq war before the election. Brian Todd, CNN, Washington.
Straight ahead, entertainment news with Sabila Vargas of Showbiz Tonight. Hey, Sabila, what's on tap?
Well, Kira, you're going to love this. Country music's biggest and brightest took the stage in Nashville for last night's Country Music Awards. We'll tell you who the big winners are and who's dealing with a little controversy the day after. That's up next, y'all, in the newsroom.
No matter where people are going, we're all going in the same direction. The future, something we're thinking about today. A good example? This ultra-clean diesel fuel we're producing in the U.S. It contains 97% less sulfur, and we can all benefit from that. I'm Chris Erickson, and I work for ExxonMobil.
Power plays, nasty campaigns, accusations left and right. It all comes down to election night. CNN Tonight, 7 Eastern.
Oregon's waited a long time for results from Ted Kulongoski. But Ted's time is up. Newspapers call Kulongoski a no-show governor who has not stepped up to lead. Ron Saxton will change Oregon with education reform, more money into classrooms, a focus on results. He'll hold the line on taxes, cut waste, control spending, with leadership, not partisanship. Kulongoski won't make the changes Oregon needs, but you can. Ron Saxton for governor.
Considering a career change, have you dreamed of a career as a helicopter pilot? Silver State Helicopters is offering a free employment opportunity seminar Thursday, November 9th at 7 p.m. We'll show you how you can earn your commercial helicopter pilot's license in less than 18 months and start earning $50,000 to $100,000 annually. This professional training program allows you to become a commercial helicopter pilot with no upfront cost to you. The seminar is Thursday, November 9th at 7 p.m. Come see us at the Salem Municipal Airport. To reserve your seat, call 1-888-91-PILOT today.
For Portland's best selection of New Balance shoes and apparel, there's a place you'll fit right in.
Come to the New Balance store.
Your walking headquarters.
Come to the New Balance store.
Portland's best selection.
Come to the New Balance store. You'll fit right in.
Professional shoe fitting, women's 5 to men's 16, widths AA through 6E.
Come to the New Balance store. You'll fit right in.
New Balance Portland, Bridgeport Village, and Pioneer Place.
Hey, Elsa.
Hey, Zach.
What are you doing?
Just doing some sciencey stuff.
What is this stuff?
It's Power Boost. Gives you burst of speed for faster downloads.
So it makes our already fast stuff
even faster. Did you just eat that?
No.
Election night's best moments and biggest surprises. American Morning, 5 a.m.
Very, very important people get out and vote. Regardless of what side of the aisle you want to vote on, just get out and vote. It's the only way we can make a difference here.
There's no party out there stands for everything I believe. I mean, you know, you're really drawing a line in the sand when you do that.
We have Democrats and Republicans in country music, just like any other kind of music.
Times are tough in a lot of areas. I think everybody's sort of questioning where they stand, voting their conscience a little more, and so that's always a good thing, as long as they get out.
Where I grew up, there's a sign on the wall in big O's, and it said, no arm wrestling, no religion, and no politics. And that was pretty much the bottom line, because it was going to start a fight every time.
Well, where else can you mix politics with a red carpet? Well, the CMAs, that's where, and they brought country stars and Hollywood celebs to Nashville last night, and there was even some controversy to boot. Entertainment correspondent Sabila Vargas joins me now. Sabila, what went down in the country music?
Well, a lot of different things. Politics can certainly cause arguments, right? But you could just ask the Dixie Chicks. But they were nowhere to be found because, darn it, Don, this was no political party. The show, hosted by the country duo Brooks and Dunn, celebrated a good year for country music, and it was another good night for Brooks and Dunn. They were the winner of the Vocal Duo Award. They have won the award every year except for one since 1992. The duo tied Vince Gill for the record in awards. They each stand at 18. Dunn had a part in the most poignant moment of the show. Now that came at the presentation of the Male Vocalist of the Year. Take a look at this.
And the award for Male Vocalist of the Year goes to Keith Urban.
Dunn read the acceptance speech for singer Keith Urban, who is currently in rehab for alcohol abuse. Standing ovation was an emotional high point of the evening. It's been a whirlwind year for Urban, who was married to Nicole Kidman a few months ago. He has an album coming out today and was the Performer of the Year at the CMAs last year. This year, that award went to Kenny Chesney. And there he is.
Oh, there he is, right there, getting the award. Congratulations to all, and we wish Keith Urban the best. Okay.
Absolutely, and it was nice to see that standing ovation. You know, just the country music folks coming together and you know, supporting him in this time.
We talked about the controversy at the top. What was that controversy last night?
Oh, yeah. Well, what would show be without the little bit of controversy, right, Don? It was American Idol Carrie Underwood that accidentally wound up in the most talked about moment. Underwood won 2 awards, including one for Best Newcomer, but it was when she won the Best Female Vocalist award that things got a little strange. Take a look at Faith Hill's reaction on the left side of your screen.
Carrie Underwood!
see that? It's the moment everyone is talking about. In fact, the country music blogs are going nuts with this. Some people are saying it's the most honest reaction to an upset win that they have ever seen. But Faith Hill released a statement today that said, "The idea that I would act disrespectful towards a fellow musician is unimaginable to me. For this to become a focus of attention, given the talent gathered, is utterly ridiculous. Carrie is a talented and deserving female vocalist of the year." And we just heard before coming out on the air that Carrie and Faith spoke last night on the phone, and that Underwood's representatives say that the two of them are doing just fine.
Yeah,
well,
you know what?
You saw it.
We were talking about that, and we saw it. That looked like she was just having fun.
I think she was just having fun. She has to know that the cameras are on her. Why would she do something so silly?
Well, of course, she's standing there looking right in the camera. And you know what? Who won? We remember Faith Hill. You know what I mean?
That's right. And Carrie took home the prize. And you know, what was really cool is that Carrie's representatives say that Faith called Carrie, and Carrie was just happy and honored that, you know, Faith was actually calling her. So that was really nice.
Oh, it was a nice
tonight, you want to watch
moment.
Showbiz Tonight?
Yeah. Thank you, Sabila.
Thanks.
We'll see you later on tonight.
All right.
Soggy election day for a lot of us. Rob Marciano in the Weather Center, which voters, well, a lot of voters are needing an umbrella. The president needed an umbrella when he landed in Washington.
That's certainly one of the spots, Akira, especially south of Washington, across the southeast. A lot of folks are getting wet. There are two areas of concern, northwest and the southeast. On this map, we've indicated green states, which means, you know, it's all good to go, pretty nice weather. Yellow states, you know, a bit of an impact there, and then the orange states where there's a high impact. And there have been some heavy rains across parts of Georgia and the Carolinas. Now they're spreading up into the D.C. area. And high winds across Montana, and the flooding rains continue across the Pacific Northwest, although by tonight and tomorrow that may begin to taper off. Here's the mess across the southeast. You kind of see a bit of a swirl right here in the atmospheric western half of Tennessee, okay, eastern half kind of soggy, and then everything east of there is where you're seeing some of the brighter colors light up. Yellows, oranges, reds, that indicates heavier rain. On this map, this is anticipated precipitation totals. How much is it going to rain over the next 24 hours? And according to this key, some spots across parts of the central mid-Atlantic will see maybe 1 or 2, in some spots 2.5 to 3 inches of rainfall. So it will come down pretty good here throughout the afternoon and increase overnight tonight in spots. Where it will decrease is across the Pacific Northwest, but still a steady band of rain from the Puget Sound all the way down towards about Eugene, Oregon, back towards the Abandon Dunes as well. Northern California might get some, but the band of this rain does become a little bit more ragged as we get towards the Pacific Ocean. So things will begin to taper off, and temperatures will drop, snow levels will drop, and that will lock up some of the moisture across the Pacific Northwest. So the flooding that we're seeing should slowly wane over the next 24 hours. 86 in Los Angeles. Santa Ana wind still blowing. Fire critical area there for the Southern California area. 61 in Memphis. Rain coming to an end today. It'll be dry in New York and Chicago. Temperatures there 59 degrees, so no excuses. But D.C. is going to see some rain today. Tomorrow the rain moves up towards the north and east, where it could be heavy at times. Backside of this, we'll see near record-breaking highs across the central part of the country. And desert Southwest, Four Corners, still looks pretty dry. Kira, back to you.
Thanks, Rob.
You bet.
President Bush's name isn't on the ballot today, but that doesn't mean that he won't have an effect on the election. Straight ahead from the newsroom, what his sagging approval ratings could mean to his fellow Republicans. Our Candy Crowley here to get sassy.
At our recent offsite, I picked up this juicy tidbit. SAP has software for mid-sized businesses. Trust me, it's juicy.
Women, at last, heighten your sexual intimacy. Introducing Zestra for Women, a patented blend of all-natural oils clinically proven to heighten sexual arousal and pleasure. Arouse your sexuality with Zestra for you and your relationship.
I saw several girls raped.
Raped right in front of my eyes.
Then they burned them to death.
They killed my sons.
Then my husband. And my brother.
The government just wants us to disappear.
The rest of the world isn't doing anything.
Isn't doing anything.
Anything.
Head On. Apply direct.
Head On. Apply. Your commercial, but your product is amazing.
Head On is available without a prescription. New from the makers of Head On. Introducing Activon. Joint and muscle pain? Activon. Apply directly where it hurts. Activon Joint and Muscle. In stores now. New from the makers of Head On. Introducing Activon. Arthritis pain? Activon. Apply directly where it hurts. Activon Arthritis. In stores now.
Do you, Morgan Ambrose Robert, take this woman to be your lawful wedded wife?
Of course, that very much depends on what you mean by the question, do you? Forward-looking statements involve risk and uncertainties. We're opening up a can of worms here. No single answer readily presents itself. I mean, have we really explored every avenue? Have the parties made certain representations, warranties, and agreements in connection with the merger? Do the parties agree to be subject to the satisfaction of the regulatory approvals as required to consummate the transaction? Who amongst us will ever know?
I do.
I pronounce you.
That would unite North, South, East, West, and one great country. And on each such occasion, as they gathered in ceremony and celebration, there was not a man among them who wasn't looking forward to a few days off, a good meal, and perhaps, most of all, a cleaner locomotive. GE Transportation presents the Evolution Series, the cleanest, most fuel-efficient locomotive we've ever created. And that's a big hats off to another product of pure eco-imagination. GE, imagination at work.
My business spends thousands of dollars on materials, on supplies,
on equipment.
So when I heard about a credit card that gives you up to 5% cash back,
I didn't need a second opinion.
With the Platinum Business Cash Rebate Card from American Express, you can get up to 5% cash back automatically with no limit on how much you can earn. Call 1-800-NOW-OPEN to apply.
Cash back on EKG machines.
Cash back on drywall. On engines.
On computers.
Even pizza.
There's no annual fee and no interest for 6 months. Plus, you'll get the service you deserve from Open, the small business team at American Express.
$640 back. Nice.
The Platinum Business Cash Rebate Card from American Express. Call now for a 60-second decision and start getting up to 5% cash back.
Cash back that goes right back into